welcome back to Denizens, episode 10! Fucking hell.
Yay! Brilliant.
Yay!
There's some spontaneous, genuine feedback there. Right. This isn't the second or third time doing this. So, we're going to get started. We're going to generate our fortune pool and we're going to get back into finding out what the denizens get up to now they finally reached the Tower of Sarn Goriwing and met with the inhabitants there. So, let's see. Completely, you're in the wrong place. What are you doing up there? Jabir, can you roll a d6 for us? And let's see what you get.
Alrighty.
Nice.
Oh, 1. Okay, blup. There we go. And yeah, Shagboc, roll the sacrificial d6 of doom. 5.
Nice.
That was close, but it's yours. And then yeah, Ragrut, have a crack at the d6. See what you get.
Oh, come on, Ragnarok. I kick Ragnarok.
So that flips and becomes mine. Alrighty then, Utarigna. If you could stop kicking Ragrut for a second. Thank you.
That's how you do it, Ragnarok.
Faster. Utarigna.
I kick you again.
Exactly. And yes, now because you are in an alliance with the denizens, Charles D. Dickens, would you like to roll a d6 for us and see what occurs? On a 1 to 5. Yeah, give it a go. 1 to 5, it is yours. On a 6,
Hey.
it's mine. 2, yes. Excellent, that is
Ragnarok,
yours.
you're fired.
It's a new snagger in town, and he's very well read.
And he's a proper colour. It's so pasty.
I bet his diary isn't as good as mine.
Fair enough.
Okay, right, let us let's get you to where we need to be. So last time you had finally been guided by Malicious and reached, after a lot of stomping about and getting lost and bad weather and sore feet, you had reached the Tower of Sarn Goriwing, the Black Rock. Makes it sound like Blackpool, doesn't it? And you had met some of the inhabitants, and one of them, a corrupt elf, rubbed you up completely the wrong way, and so you left them in a very bad way, crushed, having a long rest in the mud, and went inside Sarn Goriwing and met some of the residents, and met the Lich Lhachglin, and started negotiating the terms and conditions of a new employment contract. So let us head into Sarn Goriwing, and place you've just gone downstairs, I believe.
Yes, down for some food, I think.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Now do a quick map check. Everything all right there? Can you see the map okay?
Yep.
Yep.
Everyone's got control of tokens. Do a quick token check. I'm just going to put the
Yep.
Got 5 to first. Uh-huh.
How do you spell the name of the place, please?
Well, only a snagger of letters could ask that question. I'll put it in the chat for you. It is Sarn Goriwing. Boop.
Goriwing.
There we go. So on the right hand side we've got a little space for our fortune pool. Hopefully you should be able to see it. just off the map. And we'll place any unexpected injury cards over there as well, but you know.
We're not going to fight anybody, I'm sure.
I can't see them.
Zoom right
I
out.
can't see them.
Off the map on the right.
Oh, they're right over there. Okay.
Yeah.
I see them.
Yep.
These big token things that say fortune tokens and
Who's
points.
who's messing about with the fortune tokens? What's going on? Who's plopped that there?
What where?
Well, right slam bang in the middle of that. What's that doing there? Naughty snaggers.
What?
Right.
What are you on about?
Well, what I'm on
Yeah, I
about
don't know
is
what
that
you're talking
someone plonked a token right into the middle of the tower.
Okay, well, we can only see half the tower because it's...
It
blocked
probably would
out.
be blocked because of your limited view.
Someone rolls a massive token in the next room.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, that's a bit surreal.
Like Indiana Jones.
Okay, so here we are then in the sort of sub-floor, the basement of Sarn Goriwing, and you have made your way down the stairwell. Now, Ragnarok, you might have noticed that your token has changed. I've taken a shocking
No,
liberty.
match with my mug. Match with my
Oh,
mug
that-
and my t-shirt.
That's so
See it?
cool.
Mug?
Let's see the mug.
Yeah. Hey, look at that.
Product
Beautiful.
placement. How much do I have to pay you for that? Hang on.
That'll be £50, please.
Crap.
Bargain.
Okay. Checks in post. So as you emerge down the stairwell, probably led by Charles, leading the way, with, you know, Jabir finally squeezing himself out at the end, having to be maybe a little bit of assistance here and there. You enter into, I suppose, what's best described as what looks like a workshop slash sleeping area. Because as you look around, you see this massive troll who is currently bent over a forge and an anvil, and there is a small, nervous-looking goblin gingerly holding a big ingot of some kind of metal, iron perhaps, and the troll is raising up this huge mallet, preparing to smash down into the ingot, sort of like to start the process of flattening and shaping the metal. So just as you emerge out down into this workshop area, there is this comical scene whereby the kobold is sort of like screwing up his eyes and looking away and gritting his teeth, and the troll says, "Hold steady now. We lose too many kobolds this way," and then slams the hammer down. Bong.
Can I cough as he goes to swing?
And yeah, the hammer slams down. The kobold just sort of looks absolutely sort of like terrified, and then and then removes his hands and looks at his fingers to check to see whether or not they're still there. They still are, but the troll looks over at you, to Rigna, and he says, "That is a contravention of basic health and safety. No distractions during the armory process, please."
There's a contravention mean.
What's he going on about, Master?
I don't know.
I mean, utter Rigna.
Just by rules
I don't
here,
know.
you know.
Okay,
Rules?
strange.
He's got rules.
Uh-huh.
Now, looking around, you can also see another a number of other things. Let me just give you a little tour. There is a iron banded door here, and there's a weapons rack. There's a little seating area. There seems to be a little checkerboard on top. Here is the forge area, obviously, and then an awful lot to the north here, northeast, so to speak, of sort of scattered animal furs. And you can hear a sort of faint sort of like grunting noise, and that seems to be coming from a couple of very hairy looking boars who are lying down on the bedding over in this area. There's a little kobold who is still looking at his hands in disbelief, and of course the giant troll, whom Charles knows is called Benjamin. You're not sure what the kobold is called, though. Now, Charles, if you wanted to lead people through into the kitchen, it would be through the aforementioned door here. But, you know, what would you like to do?
Yes, I'll take them into the kitchen.
Very
How do I
good.
go about that?
Well, you just grab hold of the old door handle and I'll unlock it for you and open it up. And you should now be able to see into what looks suspiciously like a recreation area. There's like a bit of a tavern. There's seating, and there's a bit of a hubbub from there are snaggers, kobolds, rude boys, a number of these other sort of like wild boar-like creatures roaming around. They seem, you're not sure if they're pets or ingredients. And there is a number of sort of like key figures here, sort of wearing one of those floppy chef's hats. Is a snagger behind the sort of like a cooking setup, essentially. This charming individual. A great big row of sharp teeth and a plethora of earrings. Currently he has a chef's hat on, and he is slicing and dicing and preparing vegetables. There's a very cheeky looking snagger here who's sat enjoying some food, and there's that hush of silence as you enter, as everyone stops their chatting and looks around at you all. Charles, you know this snagger, the chef snagger, is Kellogg Ramsey.
I'll go and say hi to Kellogg and tell him to prepare some food for our new guests.
He
I'm
eyeballs
hiding
you.
behind
Yes.
Richarigna at this point.
Okay, absolutely. Kellogg eyeballs you, Charles, and he says, well, it's crazy. I did not get the memo about more people on the menu. It's crazy. I can't simply conjure up more food. What is this? And he eyeballs you.
Well, the master has just met them and sent us down here for food. So if you want to discuss it with him, I'd then go and discuss it with him.
Well, no. He sort of like looks and casts his eye around, you know, the uruks and the massive looming troll, and sort of like peers, trying to get a glimpse of Ragrut, but you're kind of like currently partially obscured by Torigna, and he says, "Well, no, there's no need for that. He's no crazy. No need for that. It's fine. It's Bella. Go and sit down. Make yourself comfortable, eh?"
Yeah, so we'll have some of your finest food as well, please.
Everything is the finest food here. You know that, Charles. How long have you been here? What?
New guests. Treat them well.
Well, of course, I will put an extra dash of this and that. It will be superb.
Ah, splendid. I shall head off and sit at this, what I presume is an empty table up on the top left.
Yes, there is. You can go and drag up a little stool. As you pass by this little fella, whom you know, his name is Aston. He gives you a bit of a sly glance, because Aston has he works mainly sorting out all the stores and as Kellogg Ramsey's assistant, but he's got ideas above his station. He has always kind of dreamt of your job, really, to be frank.
I'll ask him what his problem is.
My problem? Madam?
Yes, what's your problem?
He leers at you. You know what my problem is, Dickens?
Yes, go on then.
You're the problem.
Why am I
You're
the problem?
rude.
Who are you?
Mind your own business.
When you get a brain, maybe you can take up my position.
Ooh, trousers. All right then. Sure.
Who's funny?
Go on, go sit down with your new buddies, Dickens.
I give that guy just a mean hard stare and try and scare him a bit.
Do you want to intimidate him?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Hell yeah,
Just
go for
wander
it.
off.
Yeah, as Charles Dickens sort of wanders off, Aston gives him a sort of backward glance and sort of sneers, and then he sort of looks up to see this massive blooming troll looming up. He goes, "Go, you're a big fella." But yeah, go ahead and do an intimidate.
Intimidate. I synergize my toughness.
Nice. So you're really sort of emphasising how burly and what a magnificent specimen of orc kind you are. Yeah.
Yeah, I tower over that guy.
Oh.
Fucking hell.
Yeah. Now I believe when you intimidate, don't some things kick in?
He opposes it, right? So
Oh yes, good point. Yes, I'd completely forgotten how to play. Right, yes. Let me just delve into Aston Martin's character sheet. So that's a resolve. Yeah, okay. Ooh, that ain't bad.
What's his degrees of success?
Oh, balls. 5.
18.
I knew it. Hopeless. He needed to roll 49 out of 50. Then he might have stood a chance if you had rolled something really low. Yeah. What's the kick-in effect then?
He takes 5 mental peril. I don't think that does very much to him, does it?
I don't think so. Or check his peril threshold. His peril threshold is 8.
And he cannot attack me until he succeeds at a resolve test, unless we start shit with him and start hitting him.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I know you're being, really physically intimidating, but is there anything else you do sort of to really put Aston in his place?
I'd probably do that, just give him a evil, mean look, and then when I pass by him to go and sit with my pals, I'll boot his chair leg out from under him.
I'll go and stand behind him as well.
And then just for extra intimidation levels, Shagboc,
Yeah.
you strut around sort of like behind Aston. So, you know, the stool sort of like goes out from underneath him and he sort of like collapses on his arse. And then there's a round of laughter from the rude boys who are sort of like stop to pay attention. And the little kobolds start snickering, although they quickly sort of like shut up. And Kellogg, who is, you know, who is looking through his ingredients list, is manifest, looks over at Aston and says, it's crazy, none of this tomfoolery. I need something from the stores, Aston. Go, do your job. Stop arsing about. And, you know, Aston sort of like picks himself up off the floor. He sort of like looks back to see, you know, you looming over him, sort of like Shagboc as well, and you know he avoids your gaze. He sort of maybe scowls a little bit in your direction at Tarigna, but then he sort of like trudges off, and you see him grab a key from Kellogg, and then once he's got it, he opens up the door, unlocks it, opens up the door, and heads into the storeroom, shuts it behind him.
We all see that, Odd.
Yep, unless you decided to have your eyes closed or be looking up at the ceiling. It's all there for you to see.
No, I was just looking brother, just kind of wink and then nod.
And I'm saying to you, he's talking shit about you.
What?
Huh?
Lagging for my start.
He says you wouldn't stand a chance.
Right. You watch. Lagging.
Yeah, go on, go get him. Go on.
Not to be outdone by fucking Ragnar standing next to me, like, cheering me on. I'll go over.
Did you say we wouldn't start fight 5 seconds in, Steve?
I did say, you know, I haven't planned any combat encounters, but, you know, who needs to plan a combat encounter when you've got the Denizens?
Who's this fella here?
Yeah, well, that's a good question. He is a before we get to whatever the shit that Shagboc is about to start. He is quite an imposing looking, tall, pretty large, bulky looking. Now he's not an Uruk. He's not a snagger by any means because he's far too tall for that. But he appears to be a bit of a half-breed, a goblin man, and he's just been eyeballing the whole lot of you very quietly.
Oh, handsome.
Yeah, he is. And I mean, Charles, you know, that is Ugluk, which is goblin for ugly. And he kind of is in charge of, well, the kobolds and the rude boys and the snaggers. You know, he kind of maintains discipline in the workshop and in the kitchen. He's top dog, really.
I would possibly suggest to the others that fighting our dinner supply is not wise.
I want food first before we do any fighting. Food, then fighting.
Well,
That's it.
meanwhile, let's see what shit Shagboc stirs up, because you may not get to eat at this rate.
Yeah, but do I hear what Ragnar just said?
Yeah.
Eat first. Oh, I'll go, for fuck's sake, I'll go over and I'll give Ragnar a slap round the head.
Oh.
Hi! So mean.
Behave.
What ragrats?
And this actually, you notice
Sit
then
here.
when you do that, the beautiful Ugluk actually finds this amusing when you do that, Shagboc. It gives a chuckle. It sort of comes out of him.
Everyone's mean to me. Till they want healing. Then they're not so mean, are they?
You want healing, ragrat?
Where's my food? Don't need healing. Ragrat's fine.
Will do if you don't shut up.
It's master. I mean, a Tariq, nah.
At this point,
He's gonna sit himself just kind of under the table.
okay, so you sort of like perch underneath the table, and from this sort of like viewpoint, you get a very good view of, well, everyone's ankles, some knees. It's
Poke the dog. Stupid dog.
Half.
Stupid dog.
yeah, that's a good.
I'll tell Ragrod not to show weakness, otherwise the other members of the household might want to abuse him somewhat.
Ragrat's not weak. Ragrat is clever.
Well then, show yourself.
I
Don't
like
hide.
Anyway, I'll sit on a stool. I still won't be able to see over the top of the table.
So
You've
that,
got big stools, have you? People like
Of
us.
course, we've got tools for people like us.
yeah, no, I mean definitely
Where?
they're a mixed bag of stalls here, so you can certainly find one that's a bit more suited to your height. After all, you know the kobolds are about your size anyway.
Well, I'll climb up onto a suitable stool. I can't get myself by the table. I'm either under it or by the wall.
Yes, you have to use Alt when you move to sort of.
I
override
did
it.
not know that.
Ah,
I did know that.
roll 20 advanced skills. So at this point, you know, I mean, you've seen that sort of Kellogg is furiously preparing some garnishes, and he's glancing over to the storeroom door through which Aston disappeared through a while ago, and Kellogg bellows at the little kobold sort of like close by, who is effectively acting as a bit of a waiter. Bellows at him, go and see what he's up to. He's crazy. Go and see what he's up to. Where are my vegetables? And the kobold heads over to the door and sort of like raps on it, knocks on it, and then Aston comes out with huge baskets laden down with supplies. He shoves one into the kobold's hands, and they totter over together. Aston locks the door behind him, and they dump lots of food supplies onto the chef's table, and Kellogg then just sort of like shoos them away. Go get out of my space! Get out of my space! And they go and take their seats. Aston returns to sort of sitting with Ugluk. He sits sort of like tactically over here, and that way he can sort of like glare at your table, and the other little kobold goes scampering off and sort of tends to the wild boar that are just sort of thoughtfully chewing, God knows what they're chewing, chewing some fodder near the fireplace. eventually some food is brought over for you, and you are presented with a range of what Kellogg Ramsey assures you is haute cuisine.
Okay.
Thank you, Kellogg.
I just start picking it up with my hands and shoving it in my face, whatever it is.
Is it actually a load of vegetables?
It's not
Is it
just
fancy-
vegetables. Yeah, sorry, go
Or
on.
fancy thing on a plate?
Where's the
Is
meat?
it like one of those sauce and garnish and all that?
Yeah, I guess actually it could be the world's first equivalent of sort of actual cordon bleu. There's a
Blur.
yeah, there's a tower of vegetables. There's a reduction jus sort of like encircling it, and there's some carefully piled up what looks like pork chops, and it then dawns on you that what Ramsey has done is construct a sort of food-based representation of the tower that you are sat in.
Yeah, I don't have any time for how pretty this looks. I'm just like gonna nosh that straight away. It's not pretty what us lot eating, do you know what I mean?
Okay, grab a fork joint. Are there any chips?
Ramsey looks up and goes, "Chips? Are you crazy? Chips? Chips? Chips?" And he just sort of like takes his sort of spoon and sort of like tosses it on the floor in a bit of a tantrum. "Chips? Can you believe it? After all this, I slaved my guts out. And what does he ask for?
Where is your
Fucking
tomato sauce?
chips? Ketchup?
You got
No!"
Ketchup.
what about mash? Got any mashed potatoes?
He slams his way through the door in a complete tantrum.
What's wrong with mashed potatoes? I don't get it.
They're the artists.
And the hubbub sort of settles down a bit, really. Aston is just eyeing you through his tableware. I mean, the table manners of these goblins, orcs, and kobolds is just atrocious, and clearly the artistic sensibilities of Kellogg Ramsey have been slowly ground down over time. And you've done nothing to assuage him of that with your crude requests for condiments and side dishes.
Make friends everywhere we go.
Okay, Javier is so sharing his meal with Bug.
Yeah. And Bug is very appreciative of this. He'll take any little gristly portion or little bone knuckle or anything like that, and just sort of settle down under the table, gnawing on it appreciatively. You do notice, Jabir, actually, that the rude boys on the table, sort of like opposite, are giving Bug some sly glances.
They want to eat him too.
Yeah, if I catch them doing that, I will pull one of the black iron tridents off my back and just place it down next to me. Good, you can try to get past this.
Like a fork. You're gonna
Yeah.
eat your dinner with that.
Try it if you
Yeah.
want.
And sort of like rude boys are particularly filthy, very feral sort of orcs, but they look at the shadow that's cast in the flickering flames by this massive trident, and they take one more little glance at Bug, and then they just sort of like shuffle their stools around so that they're not looking at you anymore, and and focus more on what they're eating and drinking.
Better.
So, what are your plans then? What are you going to get up to?
Well,
I think,
we need to go see this person, don't we?
can't we have a sleep first? I'm all
Yeah.
full up and tired.
Or sleep in
What
this place.
person do we need to see?
Seen Lhachglin already, haven't we? What did Lhachglin say to us? Did he say go and have dinner and then come back and chat?
He
He
did.
just say,
Yeah, he did, yeah.
He did exactly that. He said, Charles, go and make sure that they're well fed, and then, then in the fullness of time, once their bellies are full, bring them to see him.
"Oh, come on then. Want to make a good
New
impression on
master.
this new boss? See if he can give us some good jobs to do."
I'll
Yeah.
say to Ringo, are you not fed up of following someone else's lead?
Oh, this is a powerful guy. He can get us we only have to. I mean, I'll be quietly talking,
Mm-hmm.
make sure these other fellas don't hear, but
I'm definitely
I'll
not
probably
doing sneaky listen rolls. No, not eavesdropping at all.
sure. And I'll push Charles away to the side just in case. And I mean, me and my brother have a bit of a sort of code, don't we, for our own Uruks, brotherly Uruks years that we've spent together.
Mm-hmm. You
So
do.
I'll talk to him, and it might be some vague way of talking, but what I'm actually saying to him is, we only have to follow him for so long, until while we can use him.
Yeah. My reply would be, we followed that mangy witch queen as well. Look where that left us.
She just got us here, that's all. Don't need her anymore.
So if you're trying to keep this conversation between yourselves,
Yeah, we're doing a lot of
Yeah, a lot of words that we
And-
know and
and
hand
language.
signals and yeah.
I'd like you to have some kind of skill test to sort of see how well you're doing keeping this low profile.
Guess it would it be guile if we were trying to say stuff but not let everyone else.
Yeah, I think it would be
Clear it
guile.
out.
Guile is reasonable, yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna try guile, and I'm gonna synergize my awareness to see if I can make sure that nobody's paying too much attention.
And then perhaps
See
Shagboc,
who's
you
off
could
about, yeah.
help and give a D10 as
Yeah.
you collaborate with this.
on a D10
Yeah,
first.
that'd be cool. Yeah, go on. See what happens. Thanks, brother. Okay. Oof. Okay. Shut up.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Can you compute the degrees of success?
11.
Okay, smashing. Thank you. Right.
Awareness-wise, I'm watching this guy.
Yeah.
I don't really care about these little smelly guys, but I'm watching that ugly fella because Charles has said he's in charge of all.
Oh, Ugluk. Yeah, I mean, you glance over at him, as you and Shagboc are doing everything you can to sort of keep your little tete-a-tete between yourselves. And frankly, Ugluk doesn't seem to be paying an awful lot of attention to you. He had a good laugh when he saw Shagboc, sort of cuff the snagger. He found Kellogg's tantrum very amusing. He sneered at Aston when he got kicked off his chair, and doesn't seem particularly well disposed to him. You know, he seems very unfazed by your presence, and isn't really paying much attention to you directly.
Okay.
Do we see any weapons on him or anything?
Yeah, he
Everyone's
probably
got
would.
something.
Yeah, do you want to give you a little rundown of what Ugluk the Ugly appears to have kind of wrapped around his shoulders some very long rusted chains, which you imagine which have a big ring on the end and a bit of a sort of club at the other on the other side. It looks like he probably swings those about, which is an interesting weapon. But he also has at his hip a pretty vicious looking flanged mace. They look well used, well handled, but also well maintained by orc standards. So you get the impression he's a pretty competent combatant.
Cool.
So you have your little
okay,
conversation
well.
between you. What next?
Yeah, yeah. Well, then I'm gonna basically be like, look, we should do what we're told and go up and see the guy.
Okay. Then I'll take from everybody, please, an awareness at this point as you prepare to collect yourselves up. And I guess, Charles, you're gonna show them the way up to the Master's throne room.
Yes, I'll head up.
Excellent.
I'm gonna synergize my scrutinize to look around,
Good
see
idea.
if I notice anything.
Yeah.
Bloody hell! Yeah.
It's a success from a Trigna. That's the most aware I've seen Jabir for the last 9 games. Yeah.
They've just
As well.
been eyeballing my dog. I'm eyeballing them back.
Yeah.
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 Do you want me to do a?
Uh-huh.
Yes, if you're wanting to keep your eyes peeled, really, and you probably are, Charles, because you know that when you introduce any new element into this little community, it tends to upset things.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can have a roll of your awareness.
How do I go about that?
So on your main page, scroll down to where the primary attributes are, and you'll find it.
Oh yeah,
Got it?
I'm going down.
Yeah, scroll down.
Oh yeah, perception
under.
awareness.
So-
That's the
click it.
fella.
Yeah.
Yeah, just give it a click. We'll see what happens. We might need to set up your sheet a little bit. Maybe it's not doing advanced rolls. I'm not sure. But give it a click.
Going.
Click on
The
click
word.
on the word.
Oh yeah, I
Awareness.
clicked on awareness and then it come up with skill test.
Oh, excellent. Set it to standard.
Standard.
And you can click the box synergy.
How do I assist it? Opposed?
Yeah, don't click
Where
any
do
of
I
those.
Synergy.
Oh,
box.
standard. Yeah, down
Yeah,
there. Sorry.
standard little drop down menu. That's all right. It's all
And
it's
then
all
press
learning the way of
synergy.
anything. Press synergy, and then there'll be a button that says roll. Or a word that says roll.
You have to. You
Scroll
might have
down.
to go
Oh, yeah,
scroll
yeah,
down.
okay.
Yeah.
Hey, there you go. So when you do a skill test, one thing that you can do is what's called synergize, is that you can use another skill that you've got, and that gives you a bit of a bonus to your skill roll, awareness in this case. So you notice what Utarigna did was sort of like he rolled his awareness, but then he synergized his scrutinize, so he was keeping a sharp eye out. Anything you can make a case for, like
Okay, yeah.
you can use to synergize. And you're successful too. Okay, so the only person at present who has flubbed their awareness, regrettably, is Shagboc. So Shagboc, do you want to keep that, or do you think it's worthy of a fortune point, a personal or a pool one? It's up to you.
No, you know anything.
I'll shove you and tell you whatever I say anyway in a minute. If you'll buy me, right?
Fair enough. Okay, so can't tempt you into one. This could be the most crucial role of the entire campaign, but there you go.
Could be.
Right, so Utarigna then, let's take it from top to bottom. Yes, as you are sort of getting ready to leave and you're casting a sharp eye out, I mean, you read a couple of things. One is, I mean, you notice that Aston, while he is clearly intimidated by you, you know, he's giving you sort of like fearful glances, is doing what looks like a series of hand gestures just below the table level, which is a bit peculiar. And then you spot also that Ugluk is doing the same. So they seem to be sharing some hand signals. And you've seen things like this before, but you don't necessarily...
This is the sort of thing that me and my brother do anyway, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's individualised to you, so this seems to be
Yeah,
individualised between Ugluk and Aston. Jabir, you pick up on the same, but you also pick up, because you're more paying attention to the rude boys that who were, you know, casting glances at your dog, that they are both leaning in, muttering to each other, and it has a bit of a conspiratorial edge. You know, they're occasionally glancing around behind them towards you all. It's like they're scheming or just having words with each other, you know, about how they don't like you lot. Ragrut, I mean, you spot Aston clearly doing some very dubious hand signs. That's it, that's us demonetised. And Chuck, you pick up on, sorry, Charles, apologise, you pick up on everything I just sort of like stated.
So could I use my secret sign?
Oh, maybe, yeah.
What they're saying.
Oh, yeah, okay. Secret signs. Now,
What does that do?
yeah, that's so. Secret signs is a talent. So if you scroll down in your talent, you see where there's a little speech bubble. If you click that, it sends sends a description to chat. We can have a look at it together. Perfect. When you attempt to understand secret signals, hand gestures or signs, you gain +10 base chance to skill tests.
Nice.
Okay, yeah. So what would you use to understand? You got education, haven't you?
Scrutinise.
Yeah.
You must have education.
Yeah, all the books.
Yeah. So you could use scrutinize, synergize, education. So you just click the synergy button, and you will have
all in main.
Find
Down.
Yeah, find scrutinize first. Click that, and then set it to routine. That gives you your +10, and then click the synergy button, and press roll.
So routine.
Yeah, routine, because it's easier for you because you've got secret signs.
Okay, and then the synergy thing.
Yeah, because you're gonna
right?
Synergize, maybe scrutinize, because you're paying close attention to it.
Scrutinize.
Yeah.
So how do I go?
You just need to click the button which has the little diamond that says scrutinize, synergize next to it. Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. And you just tell me what skill you're going to scrutinize, you're going to synergize with. Oh, these words are too similar. Scrutinize, synthesize. Yeah, you sympathize and you synthesize. Yeah.
Or could I use education?
Yeah, you could use education. That would be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, I mean, you've done a lot of book learning on. I think you probably remember reading a book on Agaruk's primer of basic hand gestures, and you remember, some of the diagrams in there. Yeah, so click roll, and let's see how you get on.
Down, go down. There we are.
Yay! Yeah, so
Nice.
that
Yeah.
that's given you 87 because the secret signs kicks in, your education kicks in. Yeah, and I would say, as you sort of like glance back and you see these signs going on. Of course, you're only sort of like 3 foot nothing. You're sort of reaching up for the doorknob, but as you sort of like look under your armpit and sort of like glance around, you're at the perfect height to see these gestures going on under the table, and you can see that Aston is gesturing to Ugluk. You've got competition here, haven't you, mate? And Ugluk is gesturing back. Don't worry, we'll put them in their place. Now that's information only privy to you. Everyone else are over the table. You have to pretend you didn't hear that. Nevertheless, you're reaching up to the old doorknob there, Charles, as you spot this exchange going on. Opening the door?
Yes, I shall usher them over as well.
Yeah, a little ushering. Yeah. And
Oh, I'm tired. I want to sleep.
The master is awaiting.
The new master, right then. Okay.
I'm following Charles.
yeah, you should be able to head on through the old door there.
But yeah, I will be like saying to my brother that, they're talking shit about you, those guys.
Once we're through the door, I shall quietly tell the others of the ugly ones' desire to put them in their place.
Oh.
Told you, brother. He was talking about you.
It's rude. They're so rude. People here are. They're rude. Even ruder than you.
Oh,
Rude, how dare you?
Not you.
Oh, okay.
I didn't mean you. I meant this other lot. This lot that has always been mean to me.
Hey, we look
Yes.
after you, Ragrat.
You have to watch your back a little here.
Mm. Also, as you shut the door, so the hubbub on the other side goes up a notch, as you have this little bit of a conversation. But you also notice that the little kobold helper is now stood on top of the anvil and is bracing this lump of metal, and basically between his thighs by the looks of it, and gripping either side of the anvil, and leaning back as far as he can. And Benjamin is in mid sort of like pound, and sort of like smacks the metal, and the kobold does a bit of a backward somersault, and sort of like plops to the ground.
Ragrat will watch all of that with utter fascination. His bandages almost at the ready.
Yeah, and you can see the kobold's got plenty of bruises and sort of like scrapes, and he just sort of like dusts himself off, and he looks round at you, and he goes, "All right, mate."
Right.
Yeah. Who are you?
That's Ragrat. That's a shit job you got.
Oh, no, it's brilliant. It's brilliant. It's great fun. And you can see, he's clearly had broken bones. They've been poorly sort of like reset. And all kinds of accumulated injuries over his lifespan. He also has a very flat nose.
Well, next time when it isn't so much fun, I'm very good at fixing, things in your
Ooh.
body.
Oh yeah.
Just come find me. Yeah, Ragrat. Ragrat's the name.
Ah, right. Yeah. I'm quickly invent a name.
Nothing.
I'm Boris.
Boris.
Yeah, Boris.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Hit him, troll.
Boris. Yeah, and
Right, Boris.
he sticks out a hand of slightly wonky fingers, to shake yours.
Right, nice one. Right, nice one. I'll shake his hand back.
Oh, I just thought for a second.
Then wipe it down my trousers.
Yeah. Right, and then from behind him, Benjamin bellows, "Come on, again!" And I gotta get back to work. Sorry, mate. Sorry. And
Alright.
he goes and starts getting to the ready position again. Very dangerous looking.
Come on,
Me-
Ragrat. Stop chatting.
I'm coming.
All right.
Coming.
Sounds like we're all going upstairs then, unless there's anyone choosing to stay behind. So I have to do the dreadful split map scenario from hell, or are you all going up together?
I've got one eye on my brother because I think he's about to kick off. And if he is, I'm gonna be backing him up, of course. You coming, brother? Come back and sort that ugly fellow out later.
I don't like people talking shit about me. The steam coming out my ears.
Yeah, it definitely had a secret code. I definitely saw the word Shagboc in it.
Now I think I would know that there's an element
Yeah,
of
I'm snickering to myself.
yeah, that you're winding me up.
Yeah.
So
Paranoid.
Okay. Well,
that kind of fits really.
Yeah. No.
yeah, just
I'm
lean
feeding that all
straight
the
into your alignment and yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Let's go.
So, you start to make your way up the stairs. I'm just curious though, I wonder sort of like Jabir, I mean this is like the third troll that you've seen in this place. Is there any glances or communication going on between you and your fellow kind? You haven't seen so many Ologs.
Probably not, considering he is shorter and probably rounder than most of them there, so he's gonna keep to himself.
Oh, fair enough. Maybe a little bit, just a little bit reserved in their company. I don't know if anyone's going to sort of like notice you being a bit more sort of like reserved, but
I'd say to Jabir, hey, look, you could have a job like that if we get to work here all the time. How would you feel about that? Bet you could do better than that guy.
I am an
I'm
outwalker.
bigging up my troll pal.
I am an outwalker by trade. It's what I prefer.
Okay. Well, we'll see if we can get you a good job from Lhachglin outside.
excellent. Okay, right. I am going to switch you up to the library level. Boop. Now you might need to just reorganize your tokens to where you want to be, but hopefully you're all there.
What's the point of all these books? Ragrat lost Charles Dickens. What's the point of all the books?
What's the point of them? To understand things.
Like what?
Like why you haven't got a brain, perhaps.
I've got a brain.
Ouch. Rude.
Got a brain. What's a brain?
What's inside your head? Hopefully.
Oh, that thing what makes me think.
That's the one. Makes you
does
think
a
better
lot
if
of
you read the
thinking.
book. Perhaps
Can I
if you read
read
some
them?
books, yeah, you can try. Maybe you can read
Can
one
read
on
all
how
of
to
them?
think people even better.
Have you got one on how to think?
on how to think. Here we've got Descartes.
I'll grab one that says "Thinking for
Who?
Dummies."
Well, I'll just wander over and I'll just kind of poke the books a bit and just grab one and say, "Can I read this one?"
Oi! Oi! What are you doing? One of these little fanatical kobold, sort of like librarians, deputy librarians. If you go near the books, starts to gives you a bit of verbal. No, get away! No.
He told me to.
What? Who did?
I'm gonna read it. Him.
I'll tell the kobolds he's okay.
Well, didn't you say that everybody who needs to take a book out has to have, and he thinks really hard, a library card?
It's a library card.
A library card, that's it. Show me your library card, he says, and they all stomp up to you.
Yeah, I'll come over and I'll go here it is. Stick my middle finger up at him.
Oh! Well, I need to. He looks around slyly, and he pulls out a pair of sort of those ticket clippers. I need to clip your library card, and it looks.
And when I come back.
Well, no book, no library card clipping, no book. That's the rules.
Charles, tell him that you're going to make me a library card, whatever one of them is.
I shall tell our kobold friend that I'll sort them out with a library card. They're not taking it out, they're just having a quick look.
Then I'll come back and then you can... What did he say he wanted to do to it?
Clip it!
Clip the card.
Okay. So what book have I got then? I've just pulled one out at random.
Have you randomly pulled out a book? Just at random?
Yeah. Yeah.
Roll a D1 million.
Yeah. Yeah. God knows. Hang on, I'll just get my infinite list of books here.
You've got a load on the shelf behind you. Just pick one of them.
I have actually. Right. Okay. So yeah, you randomly.
Ham,
Sorry. Green eggs and ham.
Yeah.
Could be. Yeah. I would say you. I mean, you've got education. You can read. So if you're literally just picking up one at random, or are you trying to select something literally at random?
I think I've read 2 books and they were both about fixing bones and stitching up skin. So I don't have any experience of reading other than medical stuff.
This book, as you sort of glance at it under the watchful eye of the kobold fanatical librarian, who is watching your every move but daren't say anything because Charles Dickens, is chief librarian, so to speak. You glance at it and you can see that sort of inscribed on the leather spine are the words Abu Zar's A to Z of alchemy.
A to Z of alchemy. What's alchemy?
Who are you asking that? Oh, yes. Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to read that later before I have my sleep.
I pop that in
Inside
chat.
my filthy overalls. Abu Zar's. I spelled it right. That's clever.
Yeah, it's the cutting thing I've accidentally done there is made Abu Zar AZ. So it's AZ's A to Z of alchemy. I think you've probably also, if you hadn't already spotted it, possibly because the stairwell is in the way, but you probably hear that Shazguth is still on the library level. She never came down with you when the offer of food was up, but she seems to be sort of under the very watchful gaze of the fanatical librarians, perusing the bookshelves.
Got a library card?
She looks at you and she says, "No, I haven't," in a sort of desultory tone.
Are you looking up the definition of snake, are you?
She arches an eyebrow at
Charles
you.
will get you one. Charles will get you a library card in a bit, won't you, Charles?
I can get anybody who wants a library card.
Okay.
But you are very
Go see
much,
this geezer then.
you are very much in charge, Charles, of who gets access to the books. It's the Master's collection, so the Cobble fanatics will guard them sometimes with their lives. That's why there's only 3 of them remaining. Some Cobble fanatic librarians have lost their lives when someone tried to grab a book they shouldn't have. But yeah, you can head up to. You need to take everybody up to the next level.
Okay.
It will lead you up to the throne room. So if you wanted to brief everybody on what to expect, you can do so. You can tell them. Yeah.
Yes,
for
I shall tell them that the master's throne room is upstairs, and to be not quite so rude to the master as everyone else.
What's that?
What?
I wouldn't be too rude to him. He's quite a powerful
I'm
fellow.
not rude. I'm never rude. Am I?
Perhaps a little.
Okay.
I'm
Ragbot's
gonna
won't
follow.
say anything.
I'm going to follow very closely behind Charles as we go up the stairs, and really quietly so nobody else can hear me.
Yeah.
I'm going to say, "Hey, you. I want a library card." So don't tell anyone.
Really quietly. I like it.
Yeah, don't tell anybody.
I shall
I'm sure
chuckle.
my brother can't hear me.
I'll chuckle as I head off to the stairs.
Okay, I am
I'll
just
follow you.
going to carefully plop you onto the next map, by which I mean I've just randomly cut and pasted you onto it, so that you might need to disentangle yourselves as you make your way up the stairwell on to what is effectively the throne level. And here you would see a number of rather interesting looking things. First of all, as you emerge from the stairwell, there is inscribed into the floor, as you can see, this almost like blood etched circle deeply inscribed into the floor, in the middle of which is this, well, altar, stone altar. On top of the stone altar is is what is clearly an orb, but it's covered with a black cloth right now. Beyond that, you can see, sat in his throne, Lhachglin, but his throne is mounted into a tree. This tree seems to be growing literally out of the floor and sort of like stretching its way up into the shadows above in the ceiling. Ringo and Pete are stood either side. Ringo currently has his left sort of index finger inserted into his nostril, and Pete appears to be scratching his arse. But Lhachglin is sat there looking at his fingernails as you sort of like emerge, and the tree, you notice, is just subtly moving, as in, I mean, there's no wind in here, and yet still the branches and the twigs seem to be sort of like shifting as if in a breeze, which is a bit uncanny.
Can I whisper to Jabir jokingly? That seems a bit poncy for a throne. I know there's a bloke down the road who's got a throne made out of swords. Just a bit of a joke. Let's see if Jabir actually says anything.
That would seem a little harsh to sit on.
I laugh. You see Shagboc laughing.
I'm going to ignore these guys and go with Charles up to try and, get a word in with Lhachglin and make a good impression. Get some brownie points with him.
I'll tell the master that the new fellows are here.
Yes, Lhachglin looks down at you, Charles, as you stand sort of like at a base of the tree. I mean, you know, because you've lived here for a long time, that you don't mess with the tree. You have seen it bash people across the room when it's in a bad temper, and it's very protective over Lhachglin. Lhachglin looks down from where he is perched in his throne on the tree, looks down at you, and he says, "Yes, I have observed their arrival, Charles. I thank you, I suppose," he says, trying out the word "thank you," as if like it's not a word he says terribly frequently. He casts his eye around the denizens and he says, "Well, are you all well fed now?" he says, as sort of black sort of smoke sort of filters from the pits where his eyes should be.
Yes, master.
Good.
Remind me of his name, please.
Lhachglin. Tell you what, I'll put a
That's
name
right,
badge
so
on the
LA.
lich. Lhachglin.
Yeah,
Like
it's in black there,
Lhachglin.
innit? Can't see him.
Yeah.
Lhachglin.
Who speaks for you? Says Lhachglin.
I'll say, I do. Uterignan, and I'll shuffle Charles back out of the way.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
And I'll say,
Wait,
like,
stop that.
I ignore him. Just kick him a bit further back. And say, like, many thanks for your hospitality, Lord of the Tower. We would very much like to earn some, show some token of our appreciation by what we can for you. What can we do? Gives a job.
He
Job,
considers
I can do that, gives a job.
he considers your words and he says, "Well, you have put yourselves in a good standing with me by crushing the interloper Caleb Kalima into the mud. So that has got a long way. That's the reason why you stand here with your bellies full. No other. But let us consider yourselves on probation, if you will. Keep your noses clean. Well, cleanish, he says, looking at the sort of probably sort of crusty snot that's around Charles's right nostril. Sorry to impose that narrative description on you, Charles, but I imagine somehow that most snaggers have crusty nostrils. I don't know why. He picks up on his train of thought. He's like, I do have some tasks that I can assign to you if you are successful and there are no complications. Then I will consider your permanent residency as members of my staff. Status will be afforded you, Riches, perhaps, if you have any interest in that. Good food, man flesh, is on the menu, boys. How does that sound?
Ooh. Oh, yes, 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 yes.
He sort of sits back and it's like he slightly drifts off a bit. And Charles, you see him do this. Lhachglin is unfathomably old. I mean, it's not like he herp-derps like a troll, but he does occasionally seem to sort of like fade out and tune out, sort of like the equivalent of lich dementia, if you will. And you know that all you need to do really is sort of give him a little verbal prompt, and he comes to and he carries on. Or you just sneak off. Huh? He furrows his brow. What was that you said, Charles?
I said,
Hmm?
I said,
Huh?
wake up.
Oh, cheeky. I kick Charles again. Shut up. To the Lord of the Black Tower like that.
Well,
You need the little kick now and again.
let's start off with something basic, shall we? And he sort of purses his lips. And then he fades out again.
I just do a cough and see if he wakes up.
Ah, yes. Now, on the roof, there is a ballista. I need it test fired. It's a new acquisition. Any of you have the skills, the aptitude, the strength to do so?
Of course we do. I have no clue what a ballista. Well, I do, mate. Do we know what ballista is?
Well, that's a great question. I don't know. I mean, some kind of skill test.
No, just to know what it is. I just wonder if we've seen him in like bugbears or whatever.
Probably got.
Would I know
Probably
what it
seen
is?
them when-
Would I have seen it arrive?
Charles will know
Tell
everything.
them what it is?
Yeah.
Or with my education, would I know?
I mean, hang on a minute. I'm just checking something out.
Yeah,
Do.
battle skills.
If anybody has martial ranged weapon,
Yep.
No, I don't.
Well,
Yep.
I have, yeah, but I'm not anything in it yet.
well, you need to have
Then you don't have it.
You don't have
Right.
it.
Yeah.
You need a skill rank in it at least. Have you got apprentice in martial ranged weapons, Jabir?
No.
Yeah, I've got apprentice.
You have.
Go on.
Cool.
Excellent. So yeah, I mean, yeah, that kind of makes sense because you know Ugluk trolls are often brought in to be the sort of heavy artillery. Yeah, so you can make a roll of martial ranged weapons, and if anybody wants to help out, maybe Chuck, you could help out with your education skill, but that means you can just roll a d10 and offer it up.
Roll a d10.
Yeah, roll a d10, mate.
There you go.
And Jabir, if you want to synergize anything.
I'm trying to have a think. What could I synergize with that?
Warfare.
Warfare? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, warfare.
Go on then.
I got a 7.
You've got a 7 from Charles.
Oh, go on.
Oh, 16. Okay. Yeah, so, I mean, yes, you recall seeing on the battlefield, actually, ballistas being used in the assault and the defence of your home, Lugbers, Cameth Bryn. And you know enough about them to be able to operate them, and assess, how they're used. I mean, you probably fired them half a dozen times yourself, but you know the basics because you've got a decent martial range skill. And I mean, Chuck, you're pretty sure that a ballista is a heavy, basically just a fancy heavy crossbow, really, in your book, from what you've read about it.
Okay. So I'll tell them it's one of those big, heavy crossbows. Or like a big, heavy crossbow. Maybe I'll go fumbling around the library and find a picture of one in a book I know.
Or even maybe you could try and seek out an instruction manual. Is there a Haynes manual for a ballista in the library? Yeah.
Yeah, I saw. Scurry off. Oh, actually, I'll tell one of the underlings to go find my Haynes manual of ballistas.
Yeah.
The heavy artillery.
Yeah, absolutely. Are you going to direct that at Ringo or Pete? I mean, they are Lhachglin's bodyguards, but you could ask one of them, or you could just nip downstairs. I won't bob you up and down there. Nip downstairs and have a word with one of the fanatics.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. What did I call the last fanatic? He had a name. Crap, I've forgotten it. Ragra! What's the name of the fanatic you spoke to?
Did he have a name? I don't remember.
Oh, well, never mind. Lyle is one of the fanatics, so I'll just put his name in here.
Tate.
Yeah, mate. Tate and Lyle. Yeah.
Tate and Lyle.
Oh, God.
Sweet as sugar.
So you have a chat with one of the librarian assistants, and Lyle comes over and he says, yes, of course, yeah, we'll bring it right up. We'll bring it right up, up to the roof. You want it up to the roof?
Yes, please. Be quick about it.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah. And he goes sort of like skittering off, and you see him grab one of those marvelous sort of like ladders on wheels that sort of run around, and he sort of like pushes one up. And then Tate scampers up to the top and starts, sort of like fanatically searching for the books. We'll bring it up. We'll bring it up.
Okay, I'll head back up.
Meanwhile, cut to back at the ranch. Sort of like Lhachglin is looking down at you, Uterigna and Shagboc, and he says, "Tell me, what do you know of this witch queen?"
I look at my brother. Like,
I mean, what do we actually know? We've just heard about her and all that stuff, haven't we?
Yeah.
We followed Shazgoth really to come here. I don't think we were like zealoty. I think we were just like, we didn't have anything better to do. But we must have heard of her. I'll just say, well, I've heard of her, but I don't know if she's a big deal. Our witch downstairs was all about following her, but I see that as soon as she met you, she dropped the witch queen like a sack of shit. So she can't be all that.
Yeah, she was always following the witch queen, mentioning the witch queen. Bloody witch queen
Didn't
here.
do her any good though.
The corrupted elf, Caleb. He was the witch queen's half-brother, you know.
He ain't now.
No, he will recover, but not quite Not quite as he was before. He will prove most useful, I think. Once you have the ballista sorted, I have other, more pressing matters for you to deal with. And then he sort of drifts
Alright.
off again.
Watch him drift off a bit.
Yeah, he
Yes,
does. It's
Lord,
like he
we'll do that.
completely forgets that you're
Wait.
there. Yeah,
Yeah.
and Ringo winks
Yeah,
at you.
drag him along.
Yeah,
So
he's,
after a minute of him drifting off,
yeah.
then I'll say like, "Yes, Lord, we'll do that," and jog him
Hmm?
awake, hopefully.
Yes. What? Now what? He says.
Um,
Hmm.
I cough
okay,
into
so
my
what
hand.
do you
Go on,
what do you want us to do now?
test this ballista.
The ballista.
Okay.
The ballistae. It needs testing. Haven't we gone through all this? And he looks over at Pete, and Pete looks up him and just shrugs.
I cough into my hand. Down payment. Down payment.
Yeah, I walk off when my brother does that. I'm not asking this fella for anything. Upfront.
You know, I think at this
Feathers.
at this point, you know, Charles come back up the stairs. You hear him slogging his way up the stairs. You know, possibly, I don't know. Is Charles fit and healthy, or is he slightly asthmatic? I don't know. I've got a picture of him wheezing as he goes up the stairs.
Take a little, yes.
A little, yeah, a little heavy breathing as you go. Yeah, and you emerge. You know,
Moaning about the stairs.
yeah,
Yeah.
oof, keeps you fit.
You know, have a look under the cloth.
Yeah, I get the hell away.
You could
Look
look
under.
under the cloth. Yeah, sure, absolutely.
Right, scuttles off after Ugluk.
Mm.
So, as your compatriots scatter off to what looks to be a safe distance, you approach this altar. There's a cloth covering what looks like an orb, you know, just from its sort of like shape. I would like you, as you reach out, to make a resistance using resolve, please.
Resolve.
Mm-hmm.
Resolve, and if I can do synergize of toughness.
Your physical strength, yep, you can sort of like draw upon that if you want.
Could I give him an assist by trying to call him away from it? Hey, leave that alone. Don't touch it.
Yeah.
And see if,
Yeah, you can do that.
like, maybe we're like, yeah.
Absolutely.
Maybe I'll suggest it's not the wisest of moves.
All this is happening in the blink of an eye.
Yeah,
But
I'll
sure,
use my, like,
absolutely.
Toughness.
I'll
for
wheeze
detail.
away for trying. Don't touch me.
Okay, so you've got a 1 there to help you from Utorigna.
To help me.
Yeah, he's helping you.
Yeah, I'm giving you an assist to try and withstand whatever's going to happen to you
Mm.
by
Right.
calling you away.
Yep.
Okay, so I'll just do my roll, synergize for toughness, standard.
Absolutely.
and just roll
Hang on a minute.
Or-
It is in fact not standard. It is arduous.
Oh,
Ooh,
Okay.
done goof.
Yeah,
I'm gonna do it.
can't help himself.
Okay, so then we just add the one on after, yeah?
Yep. Well, no, the 1 comes into play. Just roll, and we'll see if you need the 1.
Okay.
Holy moly!
60.
Yeah,
So
that's
you
what
get
I thought was
16
happening.
instead of 20.
Yeah. Okay. 16 does come in handy and actually makes it a success. which is handy dandy, I think, all things sort of like considered.
Yeah, brother, it's got pretty colours in it.
Leave it alone. We've been here 5 damn minutes.
Yeah, I know. Bear with me. What you see actually is that coming out of his sort of little stupor, Lhachglin is whispering some words and wiggling his fingers as he sees you approaching this orb. And crikey bobs, he can't bloody do anything today though. Right, that's his automatic reroll sort of like spent, so I'm going to use the token for another one. Oh, of course we're on a level where I haven't got them.
Can I use my ebb and flow to stop you using the token?
Yes, you can, mate. Yes, you can kick in the ebb and flow, yeah.
Oh, nice.
Oh, he's on our side now.
Please put the ebb and flow, go to ebb and flow in your talents and just sort of like click the speech bubble and stick it into the chat so we can see that.
Alright, just a sec.
Yeah, no worries. It's helpful for us to sort of grasp as a team these abilities, but yeah, ebb and flow, awesome call.
There we are.
Whenever a fortune point is spent, you can automatically cancel its usage. You can call upon this ability
Can you do
once a game session.
Once per game.
But oh my god,
Okay.
what a kick-ass talent, eh? So,
Brilliant one. Nice one.
yeah. So, Lhachglin is just sort of like muttering and sort of like his words are a bit slurred because he was very sort of like distant. He's in the midst of his lich-like fugue state, just coming out of it, but seems alerted as you go over to pull the cloth off. And you do feel the sort of like tendrils of some kind of sorcery about you for a split second, Shagboc. But then they dissipate. Charles, how do you manifest ebb and flow as a talent? What is it that you do to call it into existence?
I'm not sure, I have to say.
What would I
Just
physically see you
distract
doing?
him. In this case,
Yeah. I'll Oi, old fella,
Yeah.
what are you up to?
Yeah, and sort of like Lhachglin is just sort of like getting his tongue around the incantation, and you can hear him go, "No, it's not hello had you, it's a hello." What, Charles? Charles, oh, you've ruined it. Ruined it. Never mind. Oh, and then Shagboc, you've got your hand now on the cover that is draped over whatever is underneath this sort of like orb. When you place your hand on the cover, you can just feel this malevolent dark energy. It's like an electricity almost as you place your hand on the cover. What do you want to do?
Lift the cloth.
You lift the cloth, and beneath it you see this perfect, almost bowling ball size sphere, whirling like in a sort of a black glass, but sort of like whirling within it is this sort of like green coruscating sort of wind-like energy. And now you're going to have to make another resolve test because you're going to have to resist the sphere. Yeah.
I will do.
This is also arduous, so get all the help and the synergizing you can do. Because if you thought Lhachglin was bad, wait till you see this.
I would do. What could I do? Resolve with. I suppose my toughness again. I suppose.
Yeah, you can do that. That's perfectly fine. And
Assist again.
you're going to try and assist. And how are you trying to assist Uterigna?
I'll try sort of the similar thing, like use intimidation to bark at him to leave it alone,
Yeah.
and see if that shakes him out of doing it. 3.
3. Okay. Yes.
No, so you get 30 instead of 60.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to
Fail it.
use one of my tokens.
Yeah, go for it.
Cool.
To re-roll that, I suppose.
Go for it.
Oh, this. Oh, for fuck's sake.
Oh man. That's it, you're on your own.
I'm going to use my last one.
Okay.
Don't get that, Steve, because it's Eric's own one.
Yeah, no, fair enough. So if I just got the one there, or
No,
if you
Eric's
just,
used his own too.
I've used my own 2.
you're just using your own 2, you're not using any from
Yep.
the pool.
Oh,
Wow, it seems, like the hand of fate really is against you here.
Okay.
well, I got to say I'm intrigued to see what's going to happen.
So am I.
Yeah, me too.
Okay.
Fucking spirals in my eyes.
So you haven't succeeded in the resist test.
He's
Does it-
very silly,
does it-
Master.
Sorry?
No. Does it affect everyone else because he's took the cloth off and we could all see it? Or is it just because he's like...
It's
Right
just,
there,
yeah,
touching it.
just because he's right there and touching it, but you see sort of like your, as you look into the orb, this sort of like green, sort of like this kind of like green mist within it start to resolve itself, and sort of you then find yourself almost, Shagboc, standing in a different place. That's exactly what you find. You see mist all around you. There is this blasted plain, and the smell of sulfur is strong in the air. There is a hellish mountain landscape in the distance, and you recognize even a volcano towering up into the sky, and there is the remains of a shattered, massive, dark tower just towering into the sky, but it's fallen into ruin. You are racked with pain. It lances through your body, and for the next combat, you will permanently have for every turn 1 less action point.
Okay.
As this nightmare vision courses through you, this pain racks through you. And what the rest of you see is that Shagboc is standing sort of like transfixed, gazing at something in the orb. And the orb you see sort of like flaring. Lhachglin looks down at you, Charles, and he says, Dickens, cover the orb.
I shall head over and cover the orb, cutting the fucking idiot
Yeah.
as I walk.
Lhachglin says, sometimes, Charles, my spells are to prevent harm.
I wasn't
Dude.
touching at you. I was touching at the fool over here.
Oh, good. Well, I mean, might be best just to give him a few medicinal slaps on the cheek, and maybe a drop of grog, and send him on his way. He'll snap out of it in a moment.
I shall give him a couple of. Well, I guess I'll have to jump and slap him.
You might have to climb up on the altar virtually to get up to sort of just sort
I'll
of.
come over and lift you up. Slap him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, we'll go about that. I'll attempt to slap him by
Excellent.
climbing on the. I'll put the thing over the orb first.
You do, yes, and you know better than to look into the orb. You cover it back up, and with the assistance of Uterigna, perhaps with a little bit of a lift, you're able to sort of just, if you still want to do that, then you're able to bring Shagboc back to his
Yeah, I
senses.
just usher him away.
Yeah.
I shall do.
And
I
yeah,
shall
get
do
him
that.
away from.
And I think at this point, we can have a brief break for a restorative cup of tea, and then see what you get up to.
Awesome.
Restorative cup of tea later. So, yes, you are making your way up now towards the roof. I guess, Charles, you taking the lead?
Yeah, I'll take them up the stairs. The final set.
Well, if you carry on up the stairwell from the throne level, and you pass through another level, and carry on up towards the rooftops. There's one level that you don't go into, but as you pass through the stairwell, you would catch a glimpse of what looks like another sort of another dining room, another canteen. It's empty, but you see 4 sets of tables and chairs. There's a roaring fire, a couple of doorways that presumably lead into other chambers. You would also actually let's take a scrutinize as you traipse up the stairs behind Master Dickens, who's wheezing his way up.
Synergize my awareness.
Synergize awareness.
Yeah.
So, do I know what this room is?
You do. This floor, the master's bedrooms and his apprentice's bedroom, and he has his own sort of little refectory on this level. How have we done? Oh, right, okay.
Do I need to do an awareness as well?
I mean, you're perfectly aware of what's in this chamber, whereas the others are not. And I don't think so, because you're intent on leading them up to the top of the roof, unless you want to do a scrutinize awareness to be aware of what the others are doing.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that seems reasonable, I think.
Yeah,
If
you
you
might need to keep us in hand.
Right, where's perception? Just standard.
Yeah, standard. Perfect. Unless otherwise specified, pretty much every roll is done at standard by default, and nearly every skill roll you can synergize. Okay, yeah, so, I mean, you would be aware then that, certainly Uterigna and Jabir are taking a bit of a sneak peek as they go past the quarter of the stairwell that opens out into the Lhachglin's personal refectory. And
Well,
yeah,
I'd say to them, we've already nearly lost one of you today. Let's get moving.
He's kind of bossy, isn't he?
Yeah, don't tell me what to do.
And as you hear these words being issued by Charles Dickens, it was the best of times, it was the worst of times. You glimpse Utarigna and Jabir that on the far side of this quarter of the floor, the level, next to the fire there are two chests, very sizable treasure chests, one of which is firmly closed. The other one, however, is open, and with those successes you catch a glimpse of the familiar sort of an arcing of a pile of gold.
I'm
Just-
gonna elbow my brother and say, "Hey, look over there."
What? What? I'm holding my head. Ooh, yeah.
Give him a,
Ooh.
give
'Cause I
give
know-
him give him a D10 then, and let's see if that he notices.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's like a little assist. Yeah,
10.
you give him an
No,
8. No, don't
that's
pay
a
any
good
fucking
word.
attention. No,
No.
Yeah,
he doesn't listen to you.
fair enough.
So you continue plodding up the stairs then, unless you want to do anything else.
I'll nudge my
No.
brother in earshot of Jabir and we're going to go, yeah, brother, I got a really weird vision when I touched that ball thing. I saw this barren wasteland with a volcano with a crumbled tower, dark energy, really dark energy.
Was it this tower?
No, don't think it was this tower. A volcano. Place with a volcano.
You can have a folklore
Oh, I think
roll
you shouldn't have
if you wish.
looked in it, should you?
I'm gonna sort of see if I recognise the place where he's talking about.
I mean,
Would I
above.
do a folk roll as well, or?
Yes, you can absolutely. I mean, above the table, I'll take comments on where you think it is. But let's see what the characters think.
Oh no, I have
Do
no
a
clue.
folklore
I'm just trying
too.
to think of what to do.
Talking shit, brother. Just don't touch his stuff
What would I do?
in front of him.
Would I do
Did I
education?
hear to
Oh.
do a folklore test? Or even education?
Crikey!
Crit failure, fucking hell.
Ragra, it's the Shire, isn't it?
Full of volcanoes.
Yeah, it sounds like that horrible place where those horrible hobbits live.
Oh my god, none of you know.
Oh, wow.
This is
It's
going to be so
silence.
hard to play. Yes, Charles, I mean...
I'll use one of my points.
Jabir,
Why not?
One of
do you
my
know?
points.
Oh!
Nice! Crit success.
Oh, well done.
Jabir.
Yeah.
Oh,
Lee. Oh, Lee. Okay, cool.
There we go.
okay, well that's a real flip-flop of a turn of events then.
I suppose because I'm so still reading from the vision, I'm not.
You are.
Positive.
Yeah, I mean your bones are still aching from the racking of pain that you felt rippling through you. You know, so your head is too fuzzed and to really sort of fully get over. You're too caught up in the horror of actually being there. It was like you were actually in that place for a moment. Like it sort of accelerated towards you, and then suddenly surrounded you, and the next thing you were sort of like back in the chamber with Lhachglin, catching the tail end of the conversation. Jabir, you've rolled a crit success, and so
I will say I synergize that with navigation because I have got
Nice.
navigation.
Nice.
Nice. So not only do you know where it is, but you've got a very strong sense from here of how to get there. And it involves a very long journey, basically east southeast. What you've seen is a vision of the plains of Golgoroth, the volcano is Orodruin, Mount Doom, the shattered remains of the tower are that of Barad-dûr. And Charles, you know the same, but you've got no sense of where it is in relation to you, particularly. Utarigna, also you recognise, the place. Ragrat, on the other hand, with a crit fail. Now, something bad always happens when you crit fail something. So it's hard to know what that might be.
Is it just a nose?
It's ancient.
A nosebleed.
Fucking aneurysm. It just.
Pops his brain, yeah. You seem to be developing a bad headache. And you're feeling, you're complaining you were complaining earlier of needing to sleep. I think some exhaustion is setting in. So technically, you have a level of exhaustion going on. So, I would
Ragrat's tired.
put yourself one
do we
down the
sleep
peril
here?
threshold. Yeah, absolutely knackered with your head buzzing. It's a good question. Where do you sleep? The only place you've seen so far that seems to be fit to sleep were all those furs down on the sub-basement floor.
Well, when we go upstairs, Ragrat will just find a little place to sit and curl up and have a snooze.
Okie
While
dokie.
you lot get on playing with big things he can't even reach.
Let's go and have a look at the rooftop then, as you contemplate all this. And I've plopped you out. Now, you're not the only people up here when you emerge out, and you are actually out at the very top of this tower, and down below you can hear the rushing of the water, the lake behind you casting down into a waterfall, and the very headwaters of the enchanted river. The tweeting of birds, you feel the fresh wind on your face as you emerge, and you can see this massive siege engine in front, newly installed by the looks of it. There's a sort of over next to it would be a pile of massive blooming rocks, boulders, and there's a crack team of boar, largely, so they're not going to be very helpful in operating this sort of like ballista, but there is one rude boy who is not standing to attention, but he's sort of like half slouched. He's looks over at you as you emerge onto the rooftop, and he eyes you. He doesn't know who the hell you lot are. He just sees Charles and recognises him. And
I'll
Alan,
tell him, hey,
yeah,
we're testing the ballista. Get
what?
out of our way.
Yeah, whatever.
The master has asked for them to test it.
All right, yeah, sure, whatever. I mean, like I care. Who are this lot then? Then he sort of looks over at the troll and the dog, eyes the dog, licks his lips. Who are this lot?
I'm sure you've heard the news of the fallen elf.
No,
The ones that did the damage.
no one fucking talks to me up here. I've been up here all bloody day.
The fallen elf is stuck in the mud, shall we say?
Oh, didn't like him much anyway.
Who did, eh?
Well, he was smarmy, wasn't he? You know, laid it on a bit thick, didn't he?
He did.
And he sort of like coughs up a massive loogie and sort of like hoiks it over the side of the battlements.
Has,
gonna
has
pick up
my
one of these.
underling come up with the Haynes
What?
guide yet?
What?
Has my underling arrived with the Haynes guide yet?
Yes, good point, actually. Emerging from the other side of the stairwell is a kobold fanatic, Tate, in this case, Lyle's compatriot, and he is clutching this sort of brown leather skinned sort of like book with a clasp, and it has sort of inscribed upon it Harness Manual of Artillery and Advanced Weapons, and he sort of like prefers it sort of like to not giving you any eye contact, but just sort of like holding it out. Yeah.
Thank you, Tate. I'll go and check the maker's name on the ballista. And,
Do a check. Start flipping through the manual, and sort of like Tate waits to be dismissed.
you can head back down now.
And he sort of like turns. Tate doesn't speak, by the way. He's mute after an unfortunate incident that he doesn't like to talk about for obvious reasons, because he can't talk properly. He backs off and shuffles back down the stairwell, leaving you. And
as he's leaving, I'll tell him to sort out the books that I left him the other day.
Oh yeah, we're gonna do that. Oh, hold on.
There's Tate that can't talk.
Yeah.
Is Lyle deaf?
Between them, there's one functional librarian's assistant. Lyle is perhaps hard of hearing, but it's only because of a build-up of excessive earwax. So, what's occurring? It sounded like you were going to go over and inspect the ammunition whilst Charles is flipping
I was going
through
to get
the
a
book.
boulder and put it in here. I know I haven't read the manual, but I can see that the boulder is going to fit in this thing.
It
I
is.
can understand it's going to fling it somehow. I'm going to grab a boulder, stick it in this, lift it into this thing here.
Okay, yeah. It's pretty sort of like heavyweight. I'm just going to have a look through everyone's favourite compendium. So this is a martial ranged weapon. Bum 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 bum. Yeah. And
Well, I know that Jabir has the skill to shoot it.
He
I
does.
can load it.
You can. So you grab hold of one of the boulders and sort of like haul it up and plonk it in. And, we're just going to need from you, Jabir, a roll of your martial range to start operating this weapon. You can see that it's got a set of sort of turning wheels, to sort of like crank it back. And Charles, I'll take a education roll from you to consult the manual.
Okay.
Can
Jabir,
I synergize warfare then?
you
In
can
moments,
do.
so I know.
Yeah.
Where's the education?
Nice.
Awesome. I've accidentally popped out the chat for the millionth time, so please tell me what the results are.
Success from Jabir.
Success.
Failure from Charles.
Okay.
You're holding that book upside down, Charles.
Yeah, I mean, it is. There's an awful lot of entries, and you're struggling with that role really to find the correct page as you're going through the index. Also, there seems to be some scribbled notations, which you suspect is Lyle's handwriting, which are a bit distracting.
Can I give Charles an assist with education?
Yes, you can if you want to give him a D10 and perhaps sort of like
There you go, 20.
20 under 59 from your former 80, so that turns a failure into a success. Now, having successfully located the right page in the book with the help of a Terigna. Yeah, that's it.
Sorry for the delay, guys.
Now you can do a D10, please, Charles, to assist Jabir, who has got a success. Yeah. Now, I'll take a 6. Okay, so that's 68 under 69 gives better degrees of success. So between you, you've really got it sort of like figured out.
Nice.
But at this point, I'll take an awareness test, please, from Shagboc and Jabir and Charles and Uterigna. Heck, Ragra, I know you were sort of like sat having a little snooze, but would you be paying attention to this situation or not?
I'll probably have half an eye open.
All right. You can have an awareness test as well then, please.
Okay.
Well, Jabir's very much focused on making sure that the boulder goes in the right direction. Charles is much more concerned with the technicalities of the ratcheting system.
Brilliant. Me and my
Rag
brother.
goes back to sleep.
Yeah. So everything is set up correctly. Ragrot, you're sort of like half asleep. Shagboc and Uterigna, Jabir is pretty much troll handling. Apologies. Go around manhandling. Troll handling, and getting the direction in the right sort of like place. And it all seems to be going smoothly. When you notice that as he moves it around to sort of like steer it, so the front wheels, there are chocks in front of it to keep it sort of like steady, and chocks behind it, one of which looks to be damaged.
Okay. And does it look like it's putting it in a dodgy situation, a dodgy is it moving because of that?
Yeah, it's it seems that front right wheel is sort of like it is wobbling and sort of like moving perhaps more than it should do. I mean, you're not a super expert on these things, but just seems a bit off.
I mean, does it look?
To both of you.
Does it look like imminently dangerous, or it's just a bit damaged? Is it something is imminently going to happen? Because if so, what I'll do is I'll tell my brother to grab maybe another one of them boulders, go and chuck in front of the wheel, and then I'd go to the wheel and go to the thing and hold it still until he gets over and shoves a big boulder underneath it. I mean, these are boulders, right? They're not cannonballs.
They are
They're not gonna
boulders.
roll away.
No, they're
Now,
not.
Are you doing their right or our right? 'Cause the right hand side would
Whichever.
be here, wouldn't it?
Sure.
Yes, it is. That is the
Whichever.
right hand side. That one there. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, so you sort of like rush over because yes, you are worried that it is imminently dangerous, and I would take from you now. We need maybe an athletics roll, combined with whatever roll that you can think of really. Someone do the athletics roll and someone do a D10 to help.
I'll do
Apprentice being-
athletics.
Okay.
Well, you could do it if you want. My brawn bonus is higher, but
No, what's your brawn then? 9. Mine's 9.
mine's 11.
Yeah, you do it. I'll do a D10.
All right, I'll hang on to it. Standard still.
Yeah. Nice.
No.
Even better. Oh no.
No,
Nice.
just 1% over.
By one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but you are sort of like successful. Okay, thanks to your quick action and bracing, you are able to hold the siege engine still enough. So as Jabir, sort of like releases the trigger, so there is this massive, sort of release of energy. The swing arm catapults up, the boulder goes sort of like flying off, and then every action has an opposite reaction. I believe there was a goblin named Isaac Newtonian or something like that who said something about this. The whole of the apparatus sort of like swings back. Now it's only because of the wedge and you gritting and holding it that prevents the whole of the siege engine from sort of like launching itself back. Nevertheless, it does shift quite a ferocious amount, and you are just sort of like steeling yourself and maybe skidding along the top of the roof. And yeah, the rude boy Alan goes, "Right," and the whole
No, I
siege
don't
is
want to.
shaking.
I don't want to steal my brother's paranoid thunder, but does that chock just look like damaged through wear and tears, bad choice of chocks or whatever? Is it been damaged on purpose?
Well, I mean, I'll take a scrutinize, and if you have a tradecraft in carpentry, that would be really helpful. But you might want to
let's have a look.
synergize something else.
Yeah, I'll definitely call my brother over to have a look at it and be like, "Does that look damaged to you by on purpose?" I mean, I know how paranoid my brother is, but that does make him good at spotting stuff like this. You know what I mean? So
Absolutely.
if you want to do the scrutinize, you can, and I'll help you.
Yeah, I'll do the scrutinise with awareness, I suppose. Again.
Yeah,
Sure.
I'll give you a D10. Oh.
Oh dear.
No, it's fine,
Oh.
brother.
Yeah, no, you can't immediately sort of like looking at the chock, which should have been keeping the front right wheel locked in place. You can't discern anything about it that indicates whether it was just sort of like wear or whether or sabotage, but certainly it's inadequate to the task. A new chock is required. Not much effort to put one together. A bit of wood and a bit of shaping downstairs in the workshop will sort it out.
Well, it's fine. So apart from that, it worked perfectly all right.
Absolutely.
That was meant to. Did we hit the thing we were aiming for? I assumed we were going to aim for like.
Were you
Bunny
aiming
rabbit or
at something?
something.
Were you aiming at something,
Oh,
Jabir?
we'd have,
It's like, can't we aim at
Yeah,
that
I would've
body
done.
with space down in the mud, but he's been taken off?
yeah,
He's not there,
elf
no.
corpse down there. No.
No elf corpses down in the mud. There's the imprint of an elf corpse in the mud down below. Yeah, Jabir, what would you have been aiming at?
Bless, if it were Jabari, he wouldn't aim for like a bunny or something, would he?
Let's go for a
Too
tree
nice.
or something.
Absolutely.
Relatively tall tree.
Yeah. So you would have sort of like pivoted it off to, the west riverbank and sort of like flung, and the stone boulder sort of like hurtles, and you just see it sort of like crashing into this tree, and sort of like splinters and tree stumps sort of like going, and earth sort of like kicking up. creating a pretty massive sort of like divot and cutting a swathe through the canopy of the trees. Pretty successful from your point of view. I mean, Alan sort of like sidles over, going, "Oh, yeah. Are you the you the new team for working this thing? Then are you?" He says, sort of like scratching his behind, looking at you. Is that what you are?
Yeah, I jokingly turn around and say, "Yeah, the master wants us to test to see how far we can throw some of the army over a wall. Wanna have a go?"
Jump in, Alan.
Oh, well, yeah, sure. And he sort of like waddles over and is at any
Yeah.
precautions, safety precautions? He says,
Yeah,
he sort
curl
of
up in a ball.
right, and he
Curl
sort of
up real tight.
a ball, yeah, and sort of like he sort of like hugs his knees and like this.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it.
That's it.
Ragrat opens half an eye. What are you lot doing now?
Mind your own business, Ragra. Go back to sleep. And then, come on,
No,
let's fire
tell
the
them.
Come on, jump in.
We'll get in trouble. I want more food and I want bed.
If Jabber's not gonna come and fire it, I'm gonna fire
Oh
it.
yeah, I am so firing.
Good
this.
man. Come on, Jabber.
Excellent. Yes. Well, I'll take another martial
I'll,
ranged standard and some help.
Yeah, I'll give you an assist. If,
Can we all help in some
you need it.
fashion?
Well, I think one person
I
could
hold
help.
the rocks and stuff. hold the
Yeah,
rocks.
yeah. We could get a couple of helps here.
Go on, look at that.
Look at that.
Don't even need it. I'll do a D10 just to see if you get a crit.
Yeah. What did we get? Because I've got popped out chat. Remember?
Oh, just a
Oh,
regular success.
a regular success. Excellent.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Bye,
So-
Alan.
Yeah.
Would me holding the wheel and the chocks actually kind of help as well?
It would help.
Sure, but you can only one assist, can't
You
you?
can only one assist.
Yeah, but it is helping. So narratively, you're all helping together. You're sort of like bracing it so that the whole of the thing doesn't sort of like slide back too far. And yeah, Jabir, you sort of like crank it up, and there's a lot of tension building up sort of like underneath, and then you let all that tension go, and Alan just sort of like looks over at you, going, what exactly is going to happen? And then he sort of like is hurled forward. Just see the body of this rude boy orc sort of like tumbling in the sky, smacks into the canopy of the trees, and disappears out of sight.
Hey. And we cheer.
Yeah.
Hey.
We hold up little scorecards.
Yeah, the scorecards.
Brilliant.
Pull them out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent. And on that
I'm gonna
note,
get in trouble.
well, that remains to be seen. We'll check in next time to
Put you
see.
in if you want, Ragrat, then you won't get in trouble.
No, piss off.
Go see if he's alright.
No,
help him.
leave me alone. Leave me alone.
And well, we'll ascertain as to whether or not Alan survived his first flight in episode 11, I guess. Excellent, nice
Are
one.
we playing New Year's Day?
Woof! I don't know.
Switch the thing up.